Hi friends, this is Dr. Jerry John here. I am a 2019 IMG grad, and I want to do this video because when I got my USMLE Step 1 score, I had many people asking me several questions about how I prepared, the resources that I used, and more questions. So I decided, okay, why don't I put this in a video form to answer questions of many people together in one video. So I decided to put this video together and also try to motivate somebody who is struggling and somebody who thinks that it is not doable. I want to tell you that it is very, very, very doable. It's the same things that we study. The difference is how you recall those information on the test day, and then how well you understand the concept before going for the exam itself. In this video, I will talk about all the resources. I'll give a little tidbits about what I did on the day of the exam and then a day before the exams, and then I will also show you step by step all my scores on NBME, and at the end I will reveal the real score that I got on the step 1. So to begin with, this is NBME 17. That was the very first NBME that I took, and I took it on 6/1/2020. My preparation began early 2020, and I took the first NBME on this date that you can see over here. This is the score that I got on the assessment score, and if you convert this to the 3 digits step 1 score, if you can see, these are 3 digits, and this is the CBSSA assessment score. So if you look at it, yeah, right here you see my 140 that I got as my baseline. It's 153. So I'll say I got 153 as my first assessment score, and I had to work from there as my baseline. So from here, I was doing a little bit of uworld before I did this. I hadn't done the first pass yet. So I did this, I reviewed it, and it was really, really like stressful, because with this score, it means that I'm like, at that time I wasn't ready for the step 1 at all, and I had my knowledge was very, very low compared to the general population. As you can see over here in this box here, there's NBME used to assess it this way, and then they'll give you these bars to show like how you fare in each of the subjects. You need to push all these subjects to this side, and this side is a borderline, and you can see most of my scores were around here. With these stars here means that, hey, I'm even not in the low, I'm lower than low. I'm lower than low in with these ones here, the ones that have red stars here, also lower than low. So yes, this is how I began. So I continued doing uworld, and I also did some little bit of pathoma around that time, because you read, and like when I read, like I didn't retain information and I couldn't recall, so it wasn't really working for me at that time. So I kept doing uworld. I went on to do another NBME. This one is the NBME, I believe this is NBME 18 or 19, I believe 19, and this is what I got here. I got 170, yeah, I got 173, and this is the 3-digit score. So there was an improvement there. And if you look here, it means that before I got a 173, I did an NBME here, and I had dropped from here to here. So this is my 3rd NBME actually. Yeah, this is my 3rd NBME, and it was still not up to the passing score, because if you look here, this is the passing score here. This is the minimum passing score here, 194, and I was still at this level, even Yeah, and this is where the most of the step one scores are. The mean step one score is 231. So yeah, I went on to read, and then they will also give you some breakdown here to compare you with your own performance on this side, and also compare me with the general population, like of all medical students taking the step one score. And you could see I was very low. I was very low compared to other people who were also taking the same NBMEs. Yeah, it was like that throughout. And the key to this is never give up. Just know that you can do it because somebody has done it. Once people have done it, and once I have done it as a person, an average student like me, yes, you can also do it. Yeah, I kept on doing uworld. I think I finished the first pass of uworld, and still my first pass was not the best way to do uworld, so I did a second pass. And after the second pass in November of 2020, I thought I was almost ready to take the test because I had exhausted all my NBMEs and my scores were still not improving. So I went ahead to do NBME 23. I had reached NBME 23, and then if you look at NBME 23, this is what I scored on it. And I wanted to take my test in December because work was calling. I had to go and work, and this is what I got. So you could see I had done several assessments here, and this was my best assessment, 216. And when I record this, this is NBME 22. This NBME 22 here. This is my best assessment ever in 2020, and it was still not good enough. I don't know how I got this. Yeah, probably the test was just what I studied, because I remember before I did this NBME 22, I read all my uworld notes, and this is the only time I had read all my uworld notes before doing an NBME, and I saw improvement. It gave me some kind of hope. But then when I went to take NBME 23 a month later, you could see I dropped to 202. This 202, and I was always telling my study partner that I feel like I'm getting 202 here, but I feel when I go into the exam hall I will do better. But hey, don't be deceived, because you may think you will do better, but these NBMEs are really predictive. Yeah, but the good thing here is that I was able to cross the pass mark, and meaning that I would pass anyway, but it wasn't going to be a good pass mark. I went on to do NBME 24, which was the last one, and this is the score I got on NBME 24. That is 205. So I got 205 on NBME 24. That was like few days later, and this is it. So you could see the trend over here. I started low, I started with the 153 on the NBME 17, which does not appear over here. And then these are the NBMEs that were online at that time. So I went, and then I got 205. So this is what I would have gone to the exams with on this date. But I felt like, hey, let me just give a break, because I wasn't confident enough. And sometimes we need to be truthful to ourselves. If you're not confident, if you're not comfortable with the NBME style questions, then you are not ready for the exam. So I took a break from December. That December, I went back to work. I worked in December, January, February, and in March I had some savings, so I came home from March, and I now did my dedicated. So for March, April, May, June, July, and I took the real deal. So 5 months of real studies, because this is the time that I felt like, hey, I really understood certain concepts, and then I wasn't working, so there was no distraction. Yes, so this is the end of the old NBME style questions. So when I came back, I started with the new NBME questions, and then the very first one was 213, which was NBME. This is NBME 30, this NBME 30, and this NBME 30, I didn't plan to take it. I was going to take NBME 28, so I wasn't ready for this because I heard that it was so difficult. So it wasn't this, it was just a mistake that I took this. So the next day I decided to take the NBME 28 that I was ready for. So this is what I had on the 28th. There was an improvement from my old NBMEs and then from the NBME 30. So that gave me some kind of hope that hey, I can do better. And then there was a time that I was even bargaining for a score like this. Hey, 227 is not bad. If I get something in the 230s, it's okay for me. Once I can get into residency, I think that is good. So this is NBME 30 here, and this NBME 28 over here. Next, I did this NBME 25. 25 also brought me down a little bit, and with this 214, yeah, I was really devastated. Yeah, I was I was devastated. Yeah, but then we have to keep pushing because I had invested a lot of money. I didn't do any offlines. No, I wasn't the type that I don't like offline because it doesn't put any pressure on me to study. So I'll always renew my uworld and always buy the Q banks because I wanted this record so that I can use them for video one day. If I did offline, then I wouldn't have anything to really show to people that this how I did it. Yeah, so this is the NBME 25, and I was still doing uworld at this time. I did some bit of amboss, and I did the next NBME another date. So on this date, on June 3, I did NBME 26, and I got a 230. So this 230 also gave me some hope that I was getting close to the average step 1 score. I was getting close to the average step 1 score here. Yeah, yeah. So this is not a bad mark for me at that time. So I was a little bit happy and I was a little bit relieved. So at this point, I think I did RX SA2 and I got a 237, and so I went I reviewed the RX, and then I did some little bit of RX questions. I did about 1,000 questions on RX also, and then I took another NBME. I took another NBME on June 10, that's 7 days after the previous one, and then I dropped just by 2 points. This NBME 27, this form 27 got to 28, which isn't also too bad. So one thing that encouraged me, even though I dropped by 2 points, one thing that encouraged me was that I knew that the questions are different. So NBME 26 and 27 have different sets of questions. So if I'm around the same thing, it means that the number of questions that I scored on both forms is a very good thing because they are not the same questions. So that's what keeps me going. Now, this is my best NBME, I think. Yeah, this is the best NBME score I ever got. 246, and this is on form 29, this NBME 29. It was just, I just love that form because it was the kind of questions that was comfortable. There were a lot of like two-step and one-step questions, and everyone loves those kind of questions. So yeah, I got 246, and this also boosted my morale. And now with this score, I became a little bit reluctant, and I wasn't pushing harder because I thought, oh, like I can't go below 240 anymore. But yeah, I was lying to myself. So I took uworld SA2 about I think 5 days after this, and in uworld SA2 I got a 230 on uworld SA2. Yes, that was a drop from this one, but yeah, I didn't believe it. I told myself, hey, this is not my score, I'm not gonna count it as part of my score. Yeah, it was very funny, but I had mixed feelings. Yeah, so here if I look at like my performance compared to the general population, you can see that hey, I had improved. I became average in some of them, and here it's same for me. compared to other scores. And if you look here, you could see that behavior, respiratory, urinary, like I was high, repro became high. MSK was still low here because I didn't review it before this NBME. Farm high, anatomy and biology high. I really love embryology, so I'm not surprised about this. So after all this NBME, I did the uworld essay 2, and this was my last NBME. NBME 29 was my last NBME, and I had no more NBME to do. So I took the uworld essay 2, and that was the end. The next thing was to review all my notes and go and write the exams. Now, on the day of the exam, let me talk about the day before the exam. So the day before the exams, I had reviewed all my notes, and up to 10 a.m. I stopped whatever I was doing. I went to the cinema and I watched one movie for I think about 3 hours, and I came back home. I went to the mall to buy some protein bars. I bought some eggs that I boiled, and I took them to the exam center the next day. And on the day of the exam, like, the test center is just about 15 minutes drive from my house, so I drove there, and I went in and took the exams. And at the end, I was glad. I knew I was going to pass because most of the concepts I've seen before, nothing like was really new. I saw things that I couldn't answer, but it doesn't mean they were new to me. I've seen them before, but they asked them in a different way from what I knew. So that was it. Now let's talk about the resources that I use, because people also want to know much about that. So as usual, it's UFAB, uworld First Aid, and Pathoma. For QBanks, I did uworld QBank. I did two times, and then the last time was half, so 2.5. I did about 60% on the third round of uworld. And I did Amboss. I did about, I'll say, 70% of Amboss QBank. I did RX. About, let me say, 40 to 50% of RX. And I did 100 concepts of anatomy. So with the 100 concepts, you want to do it early in your studies so that you can apply it several times and be comfortable with them before you take the exams. I also used Anki. So for Anki, what I did was in December of 2020, when I didn't take the exam as I planned, I did the rapid review, and I realized that I had a lot of things that was lacking. So I went I went back, and then I did my own Anki flashcards of those topics that I thought I was not good at from the rapid review, and then I was always reviewing it. And this time, like, I made sure I really understood concepts. And that is one of the things that really helped me. Try to understand the concepts, and don't just read and don't just memorize. Understand what they're talking about, and that helps with recall, because later on in our practice we'll need to bring out those information. We don't have to just say them because we have to say them, but we have to say them because we understand them. Another resource that I used was MedBullets. MedBullets, I did about 30% of the whole QBank, and especially for anatomy, brachial plexus, rotator calf muscles. I did some genetics from MedBullets, and it's also like every QBank has its own pros and cons. So this is it. And so this is how, like, this is just a general overview of how I prepared for the steps. I also had like other things that were going on in my life. My girlfriend got pregnant. We had a child. Like, they are all part of the things that were happening in my life. I had to also work, so I was working until I took a break in March, April, March. April of 2021. And then I was also a frontliner for the COVID, and family pressure here and there, friends, yeah, and yeah. But at the end of the day, you have to know what you want and then go for exactly what you want. Now it's time to reveal my score, like all the hard work that I put in. This is the score that I got. I'm going to show you now. This is the score that I got. I got a 231, and I wrote my exam on July 28, 2021. It was, the scores were released I think after 2 weeks. The second, this day was a Thursday, so I think the second Wednesday I got my score back, and it's a 231. Yes, I know I have what it takes to get more than 231, but yeah, I was praying for something that would get me into residency, and I have the conviction that 231 with hard work on step 2 is I will be able to march into a residency program, and I'll be happy at the end of the day. So I want to tell you that, hey, from 153 I was able to make a 231. So you can also do it with determination and consistency. With God on your back, you can also do it. It's not easy. It's not easy, and then we are not expecting it to be easy. All you need to do is to put in hard work, keep reading every day, keep doing questions, keep reviewing your mistakes, and keep doing your Anki cards, and you will also improve, and then you'll come up with a very nice score that you want. So I hope this motivates somebody. If you have any other question, please put it at the bottom of this video and share with your friends, comment, and then like this video so that I can bring you more videos in the future. I plan to lecture on step 1 in general, so I'll take every subject and how I did it, and then I also have my notes and how I learned, and then summarize some topics, and that I know that's going to help some people. For example, for the viruses, I have a video on it that I can summarize all the viruses within 5 minutes. You will know all the viruses, their characteristics, the shapes, and whether they are DNA, RNA, which group they belong to, whether they are enveloped, they are non-enveloped. Like, I have all those characteristics. So yeah, I'll come up with very good quality videos, and then everybody will enjoy it. Thank you for watching this video, and keep studying hard, never give up. Tell your friends that, hey, you need to do this. They should give you enough time. Your family, let them understand what how important this exam is to you, and then they'll give you that break to be able to study and achieve your aim. I pray that everybody watching this video will excel in their exam. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.